so you don't get the background noise.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and get started then. It's 11:01. We want to be mindful of your time. My name is Aileen Fernandez. I'm with the South Florida District Office. I'm joined by a couple of my colleagues here. Well, Stephanie, which is a BOS, and she's also going to help me present. Stephanie, you want to say something to the group?
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm a business opportunity specialist in the North Florida District Office, and Aileen is in South Florida, and we teamed up to do this webinar for how to submit a package for National Small Business Week, specifically for our 8A firms.
Yes, thank you. And then we also have our district director from North Florida, Janelle Hines. You want to say a welcome remarks?
Yeah, thank you for coming. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule for this. This is our push for our nomination packages for Small Business Week, and we have Stephanie and Aileen here to present today. Basically, what we're looking at is trying to increase the number of nominations that we have. We have had some areas in the past where we didn't get any nominations in North Florida and South Florida, and we know we have excellent and awesome businesses that can self-nominate or nominate another business if you are so inclined. But we want to take the time to kind of talk about what makes a successful package for you, and then provide you some additional resources and websites that you can go to get some additional information. But we're looking forward to this. National Small Business Week actually happens in May of next year. But like I said, this is the time that we are actually seeking nominations. We have a tight deadline because the beginning of December is when they're due. But we are always kind of blown away by the amount of people that take the time to do a nomination package, to explain to us about their businesses. And I will tell you, we actually use that to our advantage and to your advantage, because we get a lot of our success story ideas out of that, where we can promote your business. You get some great free publicity. We get to promote not only the products or services that you use, but how it was able to impact your business, so that we can use a real business kind of testimonial about how these programs work. Jeff and I here in North Florida, he's my deputy, he's on the line as well, Jeff Salzer, but I've never applied for an SBA loan. I've approved them, but I've not applied for them. I've never gone for an 8A certification. I've never applied for a federal contract. So it's helpful to us to identify businesses that have utilized our programs in a way that makes their business grow and scale. And we are happy to sing that to the highest mountains, that our programs work, and we have some businesses that can actually tell people about that. So thank you for coming. I don't want to take more time, but we're excited about the presentation today, and I hope you are too.
Thank you so much for those words, Janelle. So do know that as we continue to share information with you all, if anything comes up, please feel free to share it on the chat. Either Stephanie or myself or somebody else from our team will go ahead and answer those questions. So anything that you have, please, now is the time. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So as Janelle had mentioned, National Small Business Week, even though it happens in May 4th through the 10th, save that date, we do have a hard deadline, and that is coming up December 5th at 4 p.m. So the biggest takeaway that I would kind of want to mention here is that, that we all get very busy. And if you think that you're going to be able to submit that deadline, that same day at 4 o'clock, or let's say at 3 o'clock, you're giving yourself 1 hour, everything will go wrong. That's kind of like Murphy's Law. So the main thing here is, this is an opportunity really for you to be recognized nationally and locally, and we'll talk a little bit about that and how that kind of works. So don't not be qualified because you didn't get your package in on time. That is super, super important. So the federal agency, the SBA, has been around since 1953. And again, our mission is to help start and grow small businesses. And so this presentation, like I mentioned, is between North and South Florida. So you'll hear a little bit about both of those things. South Florida District Office covers 24 counties, and it's south of Orlando. And so the rest of the state is basically North Florida. And that's important because when we go to talk about local awards, depending on where you're located, is which office you would be applying with. Okay. So like I mentioned, hard deadline, December 5th, 4 p.m. You can self-nominate, as Janelle had mentioned. Maybe you have a great story that you want to tell, or maybe there's a great business that you are very impressed by and you want to nominate them. And so we, a little bit later in the presentation, will be going through the actual website so you can see how easy it is and how all the information is there and accessible. And that webpage is sba.gov/National Small Business, NSBW, which stands for National Small Business Week. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Stephanie. She's going to talk about who can be nominated. And so go ahead, Steph. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. So yes, who can be nominated? All nominees for Small Business Week Awards must be residents of and employed in the United States or its territories and will be subject to background checks. Small businesses owned and operated by nominees must comply with federal civil rights laws. The SBA size standards apply in defining a small business as small. Individuals may not be nominated for more than one award category, and nominees must not have won an award within the previous 3 years. The agency does reserve the right, in its sole reasonable discretion, to remove nominees from the selection process. Next slide.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
So really, it's one category, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. You have to kind of decide because you potentially can qualify for more than one category. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. And then, if you've had the honor of being nominated in the last 3 years, then you do have to wait out that time frame. Okay, go ahead, Stephanie. Sorry about that.
No worries. Nominees for these awards must meet the following eligibility requirements. So any legal resident of the United States or its territories whom owns and operates or whom bears principal responsibility for operating a small business for a minimum of 3 years may be nominated. Partners who jointly own and operate a small business may be nominated as a team, but as long as the number of individuals in the team nomination doesn't exceed 4. To be nominated and receive one of these awards, the small business nominee must fit within the category of the awards. Individuals who have received at least one type of SBA assistance, not limited to, but examples like SBA loan, a 7A or a 504 or any of the SBA loans, assistance or counseling from the Small Business Development Center or the SBDC, Women's Business Center, the WBC assistance, Veterans Business Outreach Center or the VBOC, SCORE counseling, any type of government contracting assistance, physical disaster assistance, emerging leaders participation, such as the SBIR or the STTR, or a STEP grant, or any kind of COVID-19 grants, or the Boots to Business Reboot training.
Yeah.
But not, go ahead.
So what I was going to say is really all the businesses that are on this call, because they're part of the 8A portfolio, you automatically qualify because of that, right? So you need to have received some type of SBA assistance, and the fact that you're part of this group automatically kind of qualifies you. And the Emerging Leaders is now known as a Thrive program. So if you were a participant of Thrive, that would also count.
Okay, so Small Business Person of the Year must demonstrate success in business as well as contributions to their local communities. In evaluating the nomination packages, the judges are going to look for the following criteria: staying power, substantiated history as an established business.
They're kind of one of these little fluffy ones, It's about a proposal, but it's that you just put on.
Stephanie, I'm sorry, I had to mute all because I couldn't find the mic. So just go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you. You're still muted, Stephanie.
Oh, all included me. Hello. Okay. So
yes, it did all include you too.
So staying power has substantiated history as an established business, including but not limited to expansion, exporting, addition of territories, or growth in square footage occupied. Growth in number of employees, increases over the 3 years must be in excess of growth in gross domestic product as determined by the Bureau of Economic Analysis, www.bau.gov if you need more information. Increase in sales, net profit, and net worth for the 3 prior calendar years, 21, 22, and 23. And, how do you respond to adversity? Give examples of problems faced in the nominee's business and the methods used to solve them, COVID-related challenges or setbacks. And then, contributions to the community, oriented projects, evidence of the use of personal time and resources towards community-oriented projects.
Yes. So what I'll say about this category that we're talking about now, the one that we're going to talk about next, is that you do apply with a local district office, and then whoever gets chosen for the Small Business Person of the Year locally for South Florida and for North Florida, then compete for that state recognition. And then whoever wins that state recognition goes on to compete against the national, right? So against everyone else, all the other 50 states, or 49, not including us. Well, but Puerto Rico is also part of it, so it is 50. Okay. And so the most important part here in this package, and I think in all of them, is don't leave anything out and don't leave anything blank. The way that we do it is based, our judges, we give them a rating scale. And if you don't submit something or leave something blank, then you automatically get a 0 for that section. And so obviously, we've all gone here through school. When you get a 0 as a grade, it's really hard to really bring up that average that we're kind of looking for. So the most important part that I'll say is, really tell us your story and kind of, what you've done, how much you've achieved to get your business to where it is.
So Small Business Exporter of the Year recognizes individuals for their success and dedication in exporting products or services. In evaluating the nomination package, the judges will look at the following criteria: increased sales, profit, and or growth of employment because of exporting. You want to clearly articulate what exporting has meant to the company. Example, exports as a percentage of sales or jobs created by exporting. Creative overseas marketing strategies, exporting history, and current export markets. Effective solutions to export-related problems, including trade financing, payment and currency issues, market entry and logistical challenges, cultural differences. Also, effective use of federal and or state government trade promotion or financing programs.
Yeah. So like I had mentioned earlier, this is the one that kind of goes on to compete at a state and then a national. It's a Small Business Person of the Year and the Small Business Exporter of the Year, which now will take us to our local awards. Okay.
Are you picking up at 8? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So our local awards are 6 different categories. We're going to take you just momentarily to our website so you can see it there. Both North and South Florida have the same amount of categories. It'll be Minority Business Owner of the Year, Veteran Business Owner of the Year, Women, Rural, Small Business Advocate, and Small Business Community Partner of the Year. Now, very similarly, the criteria is, how have you done in your sales and profits? So if potentially there was a merger or, I know that we were talking about COVID, well, you have that opportunity to kind of say why we've seen an increase or a decrease. We're also looking at employment opportunities, like how many you may potentially, maybe you started off as yourself, like with one employee, and now you're at 50 or at 10 or whatever that is. So how that has kind of grown. The innovation of your product, how you kind of stood out, and how it came to be. How you've responded to adversity, and how you've the development or utilization of creative business methods. How have you thought outside the box? Oops, I'm so sorry. And then also how you demonstrate long-term business success. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, and what's that economic growth plan? And then also super duper important is community contributions. Again, like I mentioned, all the categories get have a tabulation. So anything that you leave blank really dings your score. Okay, this slide really talks about the different types of forms that are needed depending on what it is that you're thinking about or what category. Like Stephanie had mentioned, the Small Business Person of the Year takes form 3300, which all of the awardees are going to have to submit the SBA form 3300, and everyone's going to also have to submit the authorization release form. And this basically allows you giving us the SBA to be able to, tag you in post to talk about you. You're basically releasing the information on your company, and or the individual, so that we can recognize you. And then depending again, like on what categories, then that form will change a bit. If it's for Small Business Person of the Year, it's the 3301. If it's for the exporter, it's 3302. And then for all the local awards, it's 3315. Now we will be sharing these slides, and so the hyperlinks should be also on there, but we'll show you how to get there also as well. We'll go ahead and put them on the chat. Also super duper important that when you're submitting that application process that you put a photo, so that we can use it on our social media, and also to be able to if we're going to do a success story, to have that information. And then lastly, very important also is newspaper clippings, any letter of recommendation or nomination letter, anything that kind of sets you apart maybe from the other applicants. That would be great. We do put kind of like a limitation. We do have to review all of these packages. So, we don't want it to be 50 pages plus. So we kind of put a measurement, right? It's 10 pages, but it's really, you upload all this information. We'll show it to you just now. So just kind of keeping that in mind to somewhat of a limit on that. And then you can access the box through our webpage that I will be showing you shortly, through, again, sba.gov/National Small Business Week. So I will, okay. I'll show you what that's going to look like now before I take you on live. Once you go to our webpage and you choose a local district office that you're going to be submitting with based on where you're located, you'll look at National Small Business Week and kind of click on that, and this is what will show up. And then you will have to upload your information onto our box. Now, also keeping in mind that the way we want you to be able to save that information so that we kind of have it orderly is to add the year, which it's, even though you're submitting it in 2024, it would be 2025, underscore or dash or whatever, and then you would put the category that you're submitting for it, whether it's small business person, minority, veteran, excuse me, or all the other categories that we talked about. And then, also separating that and then putting your business name. So it's the year of 2025, the category, and then your business name. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here real quick to take you live. Let me share this screen now. Okay, here we go. As I mentioned, I don't know if you can see it, but I'll just go ahead and put, let me do www.sba.gov/National Small Business Week, NSBW. I just wanted to show you that this is the page that shows up. And then when you kind of click, scroll towards the bottom and you go to learn about award categories, it'll take you to all the different categories that we are looking for applicants on. The ones that for our local office that we are looking at is the Small Business Person of the Year. So you would click on the blue box, and here it talks about all, there's a lot of stuff that we've already covered, but here I'll talk about the award eligibility, who's not eligible, and how to apply. Again, we've kind of like giving you the cliff notes, the forms, and you can click on it right here and download and fill them in. And then here where you would click up on the district office based on where you're at, you would look for Florida. I'm going to choose South Florida since I'm in South Florida. Okay. And then like a lot of the information is already on here. You would kind of go to the bottom where it says submit your nomination, the big red button. And this is going to take you to the box. This was the slide that I was showing you. You would already have downloaded the applications, fill that out, and then uploaded all the information on here. Okay. Similarly, excuse me, going back, a National Small Business Week, going back, oops, I went too fast. Local awards, here would be under exporter. Same, all the different forms are on here. You would click on where it says submit with your district office. Maybe I passed it. Yes, I did. Here it is. And then this one, I'll choose North Florida for those that are here for North Florida. Same, it looks very, very similar. We do check our boxes pretty frequently. So if you submitted with North Florida and it should have been South, excuse me, we do talk within offices, but if you can just ideally you submit the application with the correct office. And then lastly, I did want to show you the local awards. Excuse me. District offices. Okay. Again, same kind of steps, right? South Florida. Here you would these are the same forms for all the different categories for the 6 different local categories. So you would apply with that same form specific to the category that you are applying for. I did want to mention one other thing, and I know that you guys are all part of the 8A firms. Some of you maybe are new, some of you are maybe at the tail end. I don't know if some of you are potentially graduates, but what I did want to mention that we didn't talk about, but this is definitely an opportunity, once you graduate, is under government contracting awards. We are always looking for the 8A graduate of the year. Okay, so here you do have to have been graduated for at least 1 year as of April 1st of 2023. And here basically talks about the different eligibility and how to apply and the forms. This does have a different type of link specific to this category. So if you're here for that nomination, or maybe you're starting to wrap up the 8A, know that this is a great opportunity for you also to highlight it with the SBA. All right, let me stop sharing here and then start sharing here. Okay, so just a couple of reminders. The small businesses are the backbone of our economy. Be proud, don't shy away. This is your opportunity to brag about yourself. And if you've had a struggle within your business, don't be embarrassed by it. There's an opportunity for you to tell us, what kind of happened and how you overcame that obstacle. Again, super important that you include community service or any type of things that you've done as far as contributions, and make sure that it's a complete package. Late submissions are not accepted. Incomplete packages are not accepted. Sometimes we do have the opportunity to say, hey, you forgot this, but not, don't necessarily rely on that, especially if you're waiting towards the end of the time frame to submit some of these applications. It gets a little bit busier as the deadline starts approaching. And then at any point, potentially, if we see or need additional information, we will definitely be asking you to share that additional info with us. This is basically the different contact information for our North and our South Florida District Office. If you visit, excuse me, this QR code will take you directly to our page. I don't know if I shared that. I don't think I did, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Actually, I can just drag it over here. Hold on one second. So if you go to sba.gov South Florida or North Florida on our district homepage, and you kind of scroll to the bottom, there's a lot of different ways that you can get to the application process. So if you're looking at the local or the national in our local webpage, which was the QR code I was showing you for South Florida, it would under here would come out, National Small Business Week, the national, and as well as our local categories and awards. Okay, I think I came to that, but I don't know that I had made that distinction in case. Okay, so I'll kind of take that out of there. So this is all the information for South Florida. Again, that QR code is for our webpage. Please make sure that if you are not already following us on LinkedIn and Twitter, that you are. We share a lot of content information. Any information is related to National Small Business Week, you can email myself, which is aileen.fernandez@sba.gov. And then this here slide is for North Florida. Same, that QR code takes you to their webpage, which looks identical to ours. Excuse me. There is North Florida's direct line where you can contact, as well as if you're in North Florida, please make sure that you're following them on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And any questions, you can email directly to Stephanie, stephanie.workman@sba.gov. All right, so we will now turn it over to see. I don't know if we have any questions in the chat.
There was one question, but Jay answered it. Dominique Murphy is in Sarasota and wanted to know if they were considered North or South, and Sarasota is South Florida District Office. But again, if anybody is not sure, you can, I'll just share the website real quick. If you go to, like, this is North, am I sharing the North Florida page?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you go to North Florida, it'll tell you, what counties is covered if you're not sure. It kind of, right, Orlando, Orange County is kind of the cutoff.
It's Pasco over on the West Coast and goes over to Brevard on the East Coast, just under Orlando. So Polk County and Osceola County for South Florida. Everything else, the upper 43 counties, are for North Florida.
There were not any other questions. Does anybody have any a question? That you can either put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask. We'll follow up with an email with a copy of the slides. We'll PDF them just so it's small enough to go through the email, and you'll have all the links.
I have a question, ma'am.
Go ahead. Hello.
Hello, I'm Quinn Gilbert. I was trying to type fast, and so
no worries.
Easier to speak. So for the SBA Prime Contractor of the Year Award, is it more advantageous to self-nominate? Because I was looking at the form, it looks like you can self-nominate, or is it more beneficial or more advantageous to ask like a agency POC? Because, a lot of times the government doesn't like to, write if they like you or not, to nominate us for that one. If we want to really go after the Prime Contractor of the Year. Thank you, ma'am.
Janelle,
Do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
So, here locally, we don't look at who nominates because all of the awards are eligible for self-nomination. It really doesn't make a difference to us. What I would suggest though is if you have like a recommendation letter from the contracting entity, because a lot of them are busy, even though we're just in the first quarter and we're
Yes,
under a
ma'am.
CR, some of them are busy. They may not have the bandwidth to actually get it in on time. You may want to do it yourself and just ask for a recommendation letter that can bolster your nomination package.
Fantastic. And then also with the SBDC, I think has also tried to integrate into this stuff too. Should we reach out to them to have them?
You can. They're
Okay.
they're real good at writing packages. So yeah, you can reach out to your local SBDC if you want.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know that we mentioned it. Definitely our resource partners are a great resource to help nominate and or help you with that package if you have additional information.
We allotted a full hour, but we'll give you your time back if there are not any last minute questions. Anybody else have any last minute questions? There's nothing in the chat. Aylin has put links in for the forms, but again, you'll receive a link to the website, a link, and then also the slides and a follow-up email.
Yeah, I was just quickly adding the different, whether it's North or South Florida, you can just kind of click on it. The release as well as the Form 3300 that both of them need. Then can you show the very first slide? Absolutely. Hold on once.
I may stop sharing.
Yeah, let me just kind of go backwards on that. Well, the very first slide is our logo. I don't think it was that one. I don't know if it's this one that has a save the dates, which is May 10th. I'm sorry, May 4th through the 10th.
The next
Okay,
slide,
the next one.
Aylin.
Okay, got it. And then the deadline, which is December 5th. I think Amy has a question. Amy, you want to go ahead with your question? If you want to unmute your mic, Amy.
My mouse was not cooperating. Sorry. So, Aileen,
Yes.
based on what I heard you say, right? You have all the metrics that you want them to put in, showing the growth of the business, both through, profits and employee growth and all the other criteria. But it seems that I heard in the way you were speaking that you also want like a good story from the business owner, how they overcame obstacles, how they pushed through, and persevered. Like, am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. We did not go into the actual form in and of itself. But in that form that we're talking about, it asks you, a lot of different, questions like when your business started, do you have a website? Give me a bio of the nominees. Have you received assistance from the SBA? Like, what are some, and we kind of covered it very generally. But yeah, so we have people that will be judging your application. So if you have 10 people that are applying for the same category, like how are you going to stand out? Like how are they going to remember you above the other folks that have applied, for the same category? And so yeah, everyone wants a good story, right? Like that's that like, just really gives you an opportunity to not only potentially work, be nominated depending on what category, like locally, but you can go on to, win the state, and you can go on to potentially win, the national award. So yes, yes, very much on point. You know, we are looking for that good story. And if they take the opportunity to look at the forms, it really goes in depth to a lot of these questions, and ask them, what has changed? Like, so if you had an increase or a decrease, why was that? Tell us kind of, what you've done and really how you've given also back. And so there's a lot of opportunity there, where also there's a section there that says, well, why should we pick you? So this is where you need to tell us why you, why you.
Yeah, let
And
me
it
add
se-
on to that, Amy.
sorry.
Sorry,
And
go ahead, Amy.
and it seems like the good story would be even better, because you mentioned COVID, right? Just as an example, there could be many examples. It seems that the good story would come across even better if they're able to tie it to things that that all businesses have been experiencing, whether it's COVID, whether it's inflation, whatever it is that is happening in their environment. If they can tie their story to whatever ups and downs due to the business environment that they've gone through, that makes it even a better story. So
Sure,
I just
absolutely.
wanted to bring that point out, so that when they go and fill these things in, they kind of keep in mind, sell your story. Aside
Yeah.
from meeting these points, sell your story.
Yeah, that's a great point, Amy. And like you were just mentioning, yeah, like how did you respond to adversity? Like, we know that, being a small business owner isn't easy, right? And there are things that happen, and how that shift, and how did you pivot? Like, how did you overcome that? We want to hear that. So yes, absolutely. Go ahead, Janelle. You had some stuff you wanted to mention.
Well, I was going to say that, even though the question might look like a point blank, have you ever had an SBA assistance? Well, tell us not only that you've had it, but how it helped your business. You're crafting a response that has to make you stand out, as Aileen said. It's your turn to talk about all the great things you're doing. Now, within limits, it doesn't have to be 100 pages, because I know I don't want to read 100 pages. I'm sure you don't want to write 100 pages. But we want to know why we should pick you. Basically, that's what you're selling, is why should we pick you over some of the other fabulous businesses that are going to apply for this particular award. And I will tell you, the crop of nominations we've had in the past has made it a very difficult decision sometimes, because there are some fabulous stories out there, and we really want to give awards to everybody, but unfortunately we can only give one. So be specific about what it is that you're doing in your business, how you're helping your community, how you are utilizing our programs. And again, it's not the more the merrier. You don't have to, have some counseling assistance and do, although we're talking to 8A firms right now, you'll have some contracting information. You'll maybe have some loans. Be creative in how you're assisting others in your industry. Have you been a mentor? That's always helpful. If you give back to your community, obviously, part of it is the giving back. What you don't want to do, and I think Aileen already mentioned this, is leave any blanks. Almost all of those questions have a point value to them. If you leave a blank, it means that you're leaving points on the table, and we hate to not be able to give a good, score to somebody just because they left a blank on it. So, in you guys all know, working with the federal government, we like to have, everything filled in and complete. So get your awards nominations in early, obviously, so that we can look them over and see if there is any deficiency, so we can go back to you. If you wait till the last day, we have to take what you give us, and it may be deemed that you're not necessarily eligible for the award, because there is some information that's left off. But we're going to be kind of previewing these as we go along, going towards that December 5th date. So we'll be in touch if we think there's something else that needs to be there. So, we're going to work with you as much as we can, but if you wait till the last minute, it's going to be harder for us to be able to do that. That's what I wanted to say, Aileen.
Thank you for that, Janelle. Yeah, and actually, when you were making those great points, it took me back to last year when I was kind of reading some of these applications, and we're asked, like, did you receive assistance? And the answer was yes. Well, okay, but what was that? And so again, not just answering the question, but giving us a little bit more meat and bones than just the bones. Stephanie, did you have something you wanted to mention?
Oh, there was one last question. Again, Dominique, are they allowed to apply for multiple categories if we're eligible? You can apply for multiple, but you can only be nominated for one.
No, you can only apply for one category.
Oh, you can only, okay.
Yeah, Janelle, you want to speak about that? Or I think Jeff last time spoke about that. Do either one of you want to?
What they're a best fit for. That's right. We had this question last
Correct.
time. Yeah. Whatever you feel like you can develop this and submit the strongest package, whatever category captures your business the best
Right now,
in the best
yeah.
way.
So the exporter award and the small business person of the year award, everyone applies for those. I will tell you, because those are the ones that go on for the national competition. The ones that you're seeing right now, these local awards, they stop at the state of Florida, except for that 8A graduate of the year. That one will also go for a national award. So again, kind of figure out where you think you'll have the best chance of running. I would say that, you know, if you don't think that you'd be a great contender for small business of the year against other state winners, you may want to stay at the local level. It's completely up to you. We do reserve the right to put you in a different category if we think you'll have a chance to win that category rather than the one that you applied for. But we try to stay true to where you wanted to be when you submitted your application.
Yeah, that was a great question. Anyone else? Any other questions? Anything that wasn't clear? All right. Well, hearing none, thank you so much again for joining us this morning on a Monday. If anything comes up in the interim, do know that you can reach out to us. And we will be sharing this recording and the slides with you all probably today. By latest tomorrow, I have to upload it to YouTube and then share that link. I don't know if anyone wants to share any parting words.
Jeff, you want to close it out?
Jeff, you're muted, Jeff.
All righty. Thank you so much for Aileen and Stephanie for putting this on, and thank you for taking the time to be here. Y'all are rock stars, and you're in our 8A program, which means you're rock stars. You're either on your way to becoming rock stars or on your way to giving back to other rock stars. But we're here to make sure that you're as successful as you can be. The key points for this that they said are absolutely critical. Don't send anything in that's blank. Make sure you tell your story. It's not a big mystery who's going to judge these. Janelle and I are going to judge these. Stephanie's going to judge these. The staff are going to judge these. We do this every year. We want to tell your story and elevate you, whether you win or not. Hopefully, we'll be able to, put you out on social media and share your successes as well. For those North Florida firms, if you need anything, feel free to contact Janelle or myself. And thank you for your time and best of luck to you. If you have questions, email us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all the information. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Have a great week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here now.